right, this is day 6 of getting this engine out of this 1997 Toyota Tacoma, and hopefully this is the last day this engine is in the truck before sending it off to be rebuilt. So what we're going to accomplish today is getting the flywheel bolts removed from the transmission or the engine there, disconnecting it from the transmission so we can disconnect those two and pull it out. We got to take the hood off, and then the third thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lower the truck, take the front tires and wheels off so we can lower it down so we can get the engine hoist or engine elevated far enough above the hood and get it out of the truck. So we're going to go ahead and get started, and hopefully this is the last day that it's in the truck. It's been about 4 hours each day, so it's going to be about 24 hours total, but I think with a little help you could probably do it half that time and you're not having to video it. So let's get started with taking off the flywheel bolt, and then we'll get the hood off and lower the truck and get this engine hoist rolled under here and connected up to the engine mounting points.
So next step here is getting the flywheel bolts disconnected from the transmission itself or torque converter. So there's 17 or 14 millimeter bolts here on the flywheel. I'm looking towards the back of the truck here. Of course, I've got the cover off. What you got to do is have someone with a 19 millimeter breaker bar here on the crankshaft, because when you try to take these bolts off, it will try to spin the crank. So you have them push in the opposite direction. And I'd recommend coming up through here with a little extension, maybe a 2 or 3 inch extension. Basically, like this. Get on these bolts. Take them off. And that's it. I'm not going to video taking them off, and I've already broke them loose. But that's how you break them loose.
All right, we're going to get started on taking the hood off here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I think I'm going to disconnect the windshield wiper fluid hose connection right over here. Just use a pick tool and try to ease it out. Easier connections to take off. All right, next, going to, there's 4 12 millimeter bolts, 2 on each side. I'm just going to get those loosened. What I'm going to do is do the back ones first. Go to this side. Same thing over here. There's the other one.
All right, we got the tires off, and I've got some blocks down there. What I'm trying to do is get the rotor to sit right on that 2x4. So I'm gonna lower this down slowly. I've got the left side, I think, already lined up pretty well. I'm gonna go check, see. Take these tires out. Unfortunately, I like the tires being there. And I think I got a little bit of a problem, maybe. Hopefully this plywood isn't in the way. Just slow and steady. Trying to get these lined up here. Push it out a little bit. As close as possible. Because I don't want to damage the brake dust cover if I don't have to. Quick. Felt it rolling forward just a little bit. Not sure why. Okay, I think we're there. Just be real careful when doing this. You don't want to damage something on your truck or hurt yourself. We're gonna see if we can get this hoist under here now, if we still have room. All right, so I think we got things in position here. I ended up raising it back off those blocks and then adding a few blocks right there on the frame on the right and on the left. And the reason I did that is because this wasn't fitting under here. I can maybe go down another inch or two there without hitting. Took the chains, mounted on the front here, and mounted on the back here. And the last step here is taking the engine mounting bolts loose here. And here. So we're gonna start with that now and see if we can start easing this thing out of here. All right. So we're starting to crank this thing up a little bit, and I loosened the 17mm bolts from the engine mount, and I'm about to clear that right now. And we're starting to see some more separation here. Another thing I've done is I went ahead and put a block underneath here. I'm gonna probably put another one just so when the engine releases from the transmission, we don't get a big, huge drop down. can damage something. It's hard to see here, but we're about to clear that one too. So anyway, yeah, let's go from here. All right. And it's loose. All right, that was a little more violent than I hoped. We're gonna keep slowly pulling this thing out, checking that everything looks okay. Seems part of me almost wants to swing this thing around. All right, we got the engine out. We got it situated on the engine cradle. And so right now I'm gonna take off some other sensors that I did not take off earlier. And the first one's gonna be the camshaft position sensor. And it's a 10mm bolt. And I did not loosen that up. There's not much on that one. Just that. Loosen that up, put it over here. The other one I did loosen. I don't know what size. This one was a 10. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna go get this crescent wrench and approximate what size it is. That's what I used. I didn't bring all my tools today. It looks like a 27mm. So anyway, that's the knock sensor. I replaced these on this RX 300 behind me, and I went with some cheaper ones and I regretted it. Kept getting the bad code. So I'm definitely, if I go with the new one, I'm gonna go with Toyota. Over here on the passenger side, we got one more sensor and it looks similar to a NOx sensor, but I'm not sure what it is. I think it's an oil pressure sensor. That'd be my guess. It's got a little port there, so it was in there pretty loose. Then we got one more little bracket over here I'm gonna go ahead and take off, and it's a 14 millimeter. I can't remember what went on it. All right, we're gonna work on taking the flywheel off next, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14 millimeter bolts. Go. Got all of them broken loose. Now that I've gotten all the bolts loose, I'm gonna just take them off like so. That's the last one. All right, we're gonna go ahead and take this plate off here in hopes that that gives us a little better access to take the flywheel off. As far as I can tell, that's the piece on that on. It's off. Let's make some close-ups of it. Bring it into focus. I can't tell if this is the original flywheel or an aftermarket one. Hoping there's some markings on it so I can tell. Whenever my transmission failed, I had a friend of mine rebuild it and I'm not sure if he replaced this when he did that. I've asked him a couple questions, but this was 10 years ago. I can't seem to remember what all parts and pieces he replaced.
All right, that concludes day 6. We got the engine out, we got it strapped down to this cradle, and now it's time to ship it off. I'm either gonna bring it to a shipping place at a loading dock, or either have someone come here and pick it up, and we're gonna ship it off to California to have it rebuilt. So hopefully get that done next week, and then I'll be able to do some ancillary items while I'm waiting for the engine to be rebuilt and shipped back to me. I'll keep you updated on the details if anything interesting happens during the rebuild. So I'm happy with the results today, and everything went smoothly.